You are listening to the Savage FINcast Retro, Episode 8, Super Patriot, Issues 3 and 4.
Chicago. A criminal mastermind called Overlord held our city in his terrifying grip. Ordinary cops were losing the battle against Overlord's super freaks and mutants. Then, a miracle happened. When I found him, he had no memory of his past. I helped him find an identity and a life. Now we have a fighting chance. Now we have the dragon.
This is the Savage FINcast, the podcast that loves a good color hold. I'm Raven Perez.
I'm Jim Purcell.
And I am Scott James.
What?
Thanks for helping us out again, Scott. It's good to have you.
Hey, I love being here, guys. Thank you for having me.
Craig
And
is
my gibberish.
Craig is still indisposed. Hopefully he'll be back for the next FINcast.
I believe that Craig got retconned, and he just needs to be... We need just to wait until they retcon him again so he's a FINcast host. But it'll get him. There'll be another retcon. It won't take long, dear listeners. If you have never listened to a Savage FINcast Retro review, let me tell you, you are in for a treat. We are going back to the past. We're going to tell you about the Savage Dragon issues of old. 17 years old. We're going to talk about Savage Dragon related issues, spin-off series even, which is what we're here to do
17?
today. 17
I think
years?
you mean 27.
27, 17, it's all the same. Is this 27 years old?
Yeah, dude.
No, the girl you're dating is 17, I thought.
It was in 93.
That's not what our license says, Scott. 93, 27 years old? I'm going to kill myself.
Turn to dust, are you?
Yes. So the whole last two issues, I'm going to need you to go back and edit that.
I don't
Jim.
think you dated those ones.
Yeah, I did. I
I'll
said
double
17.
check.
I know. I said 17 years so many
I'll
times.
dub it in. It'll say 27.
Exactly. I'll be talking. I'll be like, every time 27.
7, yeah. Go extra robotic.
But, 27 years ago, good Lord. Well, we have a gem for you. A gem. Jim, tell them what this gem is.
Well, it's Super Patriot number 3.
And 4.
And 4, of course. Yes, we're doing both.
We're going to bring this to a stunning conclusion. And, oh baby, we got some kudzu tech for you.
The action has begun.
This is an action-packed... The assault on basically the Pentagon has begun by Coventry of the Sword, Super Patriot.
Be a little bit easier, more tasteful in 93.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Couldn't do that these days.
It'd be harder to do it these days. But real quick, the logo for Super Patriot, I love the logo for Super Patriot, but I'm looking at this cover, and I feel like the stars and stripes, the American flag background, does make it a little hard to read. And I think in the future Eric fixes that. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about it?
What is the current Super Patriot logo?
It's the same logo. Let me just real check and see if that's still got the stars and stripes.
Is it like more watermarked? It's just like more faint?
I think if it was
the easiest solution to it.
I would agree. Yeah, because it is as vibrant as the colors are. It's so hard to read.
On War on Terror and America's Fighting Force, it is slightly, it's faded out. It makes the black stand out more.
I get it.
But on Liberty and Justice, it is much the same as it is here.
An interesting thing I'm noting as we're looking at this is not a Comics Code approved comic, and yet there is black blood aplenty.
I think it depends. Like, if the inker draws the blood, it would be black.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm saying compared to Savage Dragon issue 3, which preceded this, right? That's what causes the whole green cop phenomenon. Dragons in a goddamn pool of blood,
right,
in that grocery store. Meanwhile, you flip through this is black blood. Like
I think black blood is a stylistic choice. It makes things feel grimmer.
In the Code era, it wasn't. It's just kind of funny. Just a funny little observation. I don't know. Just saying.
Because there's definitely red blood here as well, in Shadow.
In Shadow, but even as we flip through the book, I want you to pay attention. Mind you, a lot of cyborgs, and there's red blood on the interior cover. I mean, there's fucking blood. I'm not saying there isn't. But I'm saying it's funny. Pay attention as you look at this, how much of this blood is black blood. I don't know. Just saying, it would have been red probably. If this was done today, that probably would have just been pools of red blood. Anyway, no big deal. Spineless Worm, Josh Eichhorn. It's nice. I like it.
Indeed. Mm-hmm. So we open up with the Covenant of the Sword getting their asses handed to them.
Lots of blood here.
A lot of blood, a lot of backs being blown out.
Mm-hmm. Which this is a little shock for you as a reader, because you're like, why is Coventry of the Sword Super Patriot blasting up these Coventry of the Sword dudes? Like, I thought he was gonna go fuck up some Pentagon motherfuckers.
That was the plan at the end of the last episode.
But
then you get this fun little scene where one of the Covenant guys is calling for help, but he's told that the experiment's gone wrong. But he's told that the exercise is proceeding as planned, and that he does not have clearance for this radio channel, and that he needs to get off it.
Like, you just need to get off this channel, dude. Get off this channel and die.
Yeah, these guys have been sacrificed to Super Patriot to make sure that he is his kill, murder, death self that they want.
And again, just absolutely beautiful lettering. Absolutely beautiful, like...
After that slash, that pose of Patriot with the Edward Scissorhands.
Yes,
just,
dude.
Killer. That's balls.
Yes. Fuck yes. I'm glad you pointed it out, because I sure as hell was. Yes. It's cool, because he actually does kind of have just a little bit of the kudzu tech looks a little different.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, the Covenant has rebuilt him in their image.
Yeah.
With he definitely looks a little bit different than he normally does. Like he's got extra armor.
Yeah.
In his wrists and his leg and his shins.
And he's got those sort of like circular things on his thighs. Yeah, it's cool. It's a cool look.
I love how they mud up the boots. Oh, there's a little schmutz. We got boot schmutz. You know, schmutz on the boot. Oi, schmutz on the boots.
Well, it appears that they threw him at an entire outpost. So it's like they're so confident in this that they sacrificed an entire operative cell.
Yeah,
just to test him.
Mm-hmm. And then we kind of they drive out. They really drive home what the test is when Rockpile comes home. They're just trying to make sure he doesn't freeze up again.
Yeah, Rockpile's back.
That's what the senator said. She said we got to get rid of the failsafe.
And so Rockpile goes down super fast.
Oh yeah,
he's such a pushover,
dude. This is a badass execution. I love it. He rips that motherfucker. First he blasts him, and then he rips him in half.
Squish.
And stomps him. It's so great.
You scream, bastard, you're asking for it when I reintegrate all and dead.
Squit.
That's how it go in Savage Dragon comics.
Yeah. Sometimes you're on top, cracking wise. Other times you just... I love the Dave Johnson style rendering in the smoke as Rockpile's emerging from the hole.
Yeah.
That's really nice, that sketchy sort of look.
Oh, yeah.
And I also love the use of Zipatone. That is very cool. There's a lot of Zipatone effects going on in here. Just the black dots. Instead of Rockpile having Photoshop texture on him, he's got Zipatone texture on him.
When he's coming out of the ground?
No, Choom. Do try to be more amusing this time.
Where his face is getting blown off.
Yep.
Was that Zipatone? No, it is Zipatone.
No, that is not. That's a Photoshop filter.
Right, but still it looks cool.
Oh, I agree. That's... Any kind. Well, you're talking to me. I love texture.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's not Zipatone. But yeah, no, it works awesome.
So they got rid of the failsafe, my dudes. And you know what? I was thinking of Sentinel and said Cabot, but hey, who do we have? Yeah, I was gonna say, who do we have here but fucking Cabot?
The main character of Bloodstrike, who if fans of the show remember, we talked about when we reviewed the Michel Fiffe Bloodstrike miniseries.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yes, he dies a lot. He gets better.
Yeah, this guy, I love this sort of government spook. His real concern is keeping his career together. How am I going to keep... Also, oh, dude, this verbal flub, this improper use of foobar.
Oh, what a foobar?
What a foobar.
What a fucked up beyond recognition.
What a fucked up beyond all recognition. Yeah, you wouldn't say what a foobar. I just love it, though. I love it.
In this case, you'd want to say clusterfuck.
Yeah. Or you could be like...
This is foobar.
This is foobar, yeah. Or shit's totally foobar. But you wouldn't say, what a foobar.
I don't know. Maybe he's a poser.
Yeah. But he's posing for no one but himself. I do also appreciate the Buy War Bonds poster. Like, that's nice.
It's like he's a fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta say, though... oh, God, what's his name? The Blood... Is it...
Cabot?
No. Well, who's the young blood character there?
That's Cabot. He's
Cabot.
He's from Bloodstrike.
Yeah. Cabot. It looks like that one after you go from the Pentagon establishing shot. I just look at looking at it without reading the words, and he's turning back, looking at the government guy. Do these pants make my ass look fat?
Huh.
It's a weird kind of where his hand is on his holster and looking back. I think that could have been a more dynamic image and not, to me it comes across a little weak. I don't know much about the character though.
Well, he's from like a Suicide Squad style team where everyone is like, they're expendable. When they die, they get rebuilt. They're part of Project Born Again.
Okay.
That resurrected.
Okay.
When they resurrected Cyberface, right? Or was it also SuperPatriot? I always confuse Project Born Again with like Cyber Data.
Basically, they die. They get brought back.
They get brought back to life. They're yeah.
That's their government property.
That's their whole gimmick. Is that they're government property? So whenever they die, they get rebuilt and sent back out.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Bloodstrike's pretty interesting conceptually. Like I said, that miniseries that Michel Fiffe did made it pretty cool.
And I'm gonna say Dave Johnson's making that look pretty cool. Like, it's not like everybody loves '90s design, but Cabot looks cool as shit here.
The way I don't know, the way he's breaking the panel border, I think Eric would hate it.
Oh yeah.
Are you talking about the same panel that I'm talking about?
Yeah, the one you hate. I love.
It just looks like, I'm too sexy for my pants. Just the way, just the gesture. It just seems. I don't know. Maybe it's the way he's got his hand on his hip or holster. Just not seeing that other foot because it's in shadow. I think it could be done different. I would have moved the figure up to where it broke the top panel, right. And you saw then the Pentagon, moved the Pentagon over slightly, had him more standing there as, a brick shithouse than, him turning around looking at a guy that's looking at his ass.
And also, the guy looking at his ass has a very, very tiny head.
Yes, he does. Yes,
his head is fine. What a foobar.
No, his head is like, it reminds me of Beetlejuice.
God, it's superheroes, you guys. You guys. You fucking guys.
You guys over there. You guys over by there.
I think Cabot looks fine. You know, I will say, like, we're praising kudzu tech left and right, like all the little tubes and all that, you know, the hoses and just how detailed Nocidum is.
Yeah.
And we've praised Johnson to fucking no end, but I'm just going to say, I really do like when you have an artist that can just fucking nail just goddamn near everything. And again, here's some really sweet architecture on this panel of Shaft and
Die Hard.
Die Hard, yep. I knew
Who
it.
can fly? I didn't think Die Hard could fly, but I guess he can
Die Hard
fly.
can fly.
My
This is
understanding is,
got
I always
jet
thought
boots.
he could.
Yeah, he's a robot man. But, Shaft basically telling him, hey, look, dude, you know, gotta fucking do something about this motherfucker. gotta save Super Patriot because nobody else is worried about him.
Right. And, of course, Die Hard was the one who had previously fought Super Patriot when he rescued him from Cyberdata back in Youngblood Strike Files 1 through 3.
Right.
So he's got a stake in all this because he's an old friend of his from his allies' days during World War II.
We see the senator talking with the Speaker of the Council one more time. Just basically telling him, hey, man, you know, we got him. We fixed the exploit. You know, he killed every fucking buddy, and now we're going to unleash him on the government. Let's roll. And he's like, let's just let them know. Send a message to the rest of the world.
I love that next panel of the ship and then shooting from... That camera angle is just brilliant. Where Patriot's sitting there.
Yeah.
Just another part of the machine.
And,
Kind of a fisheye lens sort of thing going on.
Yeah, and then you can see into the cockpit. I just think that is a brilliantly laid out panel.
Jim, and
What?
video game nerd listeners, you fucking tell me that ship, that Coventry, the sword ship, is not like Metroid Prime Samus Aran gum ship.
There's a little bit of that going on, yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you, 27 years ago, they fucking got it. I'm just saying, that's some killer shit. Way before Metroid Prime. Yikes, that's awesome. That just shows you how this old-ass book is just still, like, absolutely full of killer visuals. And then they are within striking distance of the Pentagon, and she gives the kill order, and boy, oh boy, do I love this goddamn motorcycle he's on.
Yeah, they fire it.
Ghost Rider-like.
Yeah, it looks like a missile until you get up close, and it's revealed that it's like you say, a flying motorcycle.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, I never could find shit on T-Bor Tech, which you'll see very near the gun turret. If anybody knows anything on T-Bor Tech when they're listening, dear listeners, please let us know. I'd love to know. I tried to find, like, you'll see Kudzu Tech even within the issue somewhere. T-Bor Tech, no fucking clue. Don't know what it's a reference to.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, just a call to the readers. Hey, readers, like, let me know what that is. I'm going to guess that it's maybe, like, whoever inspired this motorcycle, but I don't know. At any rate, that motorcycle's fucking great.
Yeah, he attacks the Pentagon and just starts murdering everybody in his way.
The worst day of this man's career.
What, does he say that?
No, I'm just saying this is the worst day of his career. Basically, his secret weapon has come back to kill all his bosses and friends.
Yep.
Now, this is the color hold of my nightmares. On this panel that starts clack, 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 and then has a bunch of panels, that is the least successful color hold in human history.
It puts him out of focus.
Yeah, it accomplishes the exact opposite. The dudes in bold black should have been the purple gray color he is.
Yeah.
He should have been in bold black so that he would have popped more in the foreground. They should have been purple.
See, I think I don't think it looks great, but I think they actually wanted to go for the opposite effect. They wanted your eye drawn to the background characters in this case.
Oh, jeez.
This is just my thought on the matter.
Ugh.
Raven is disgusted.
I don't like it, but
No, sir, I don't like it.
I also do not like what I assume was the colorist choice to put smoke trails on the bullet shells.
Oh, yeah, that's not great.
I don't love that, but I do love
the chaka 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 chaka.
Well, I love the runch 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 because
the sound
it goes
of him running through them.
Yeah, just him stomping on human bodies.
Yeah.
Oh, it's good, dude.
I think that lettering could have been a little better though. It looks a little
small.
Like, it's a little small. It's like he's like the sound effect of him chewing or something.
Coventry of the Sword. Let's take 2 seconds to appreciate the Coventry of the Sword design.
Their ridiculous fucking robes.
Yes, dude.
Jesus.
I wonder who did that. I wonder who was the mastermind.
That is Giffen Design 101.
Is that?
I
it's beautiful.
Absolutely have to believe that he does, because the Covenant of the Sword is kind of a Keith Giffen concept.
Oh, okay.
That's why Eric doesn't really use it anymore. He used it a couple of times again in the main series because things happened that he had to. But ever since issue 75, when we went to Savage World, Covenant of the Sword is a non-entity. Yeah, I don't know if it's...
Yeah, it was only an entity up until he, Dragon killed Dark Lord. And then,
because Dark Lord created them.
Yes.
At least that was the revelation, I believe, when Dark Lord was introduced.
Are you saying, Jim, that they Coventry of the Sword of disappeared?
You keep saying Coventry.
Isn't it Coventry?
It's Covenant of the Sword.
Covenant?
Covenant. It's a covenant.
Can you edit that into?
No. You've said it way too many times.
I just like to make the listeners feel smart. So, you're welcome, everybody. I'm sorry. I do appreciate, too, that the guards with US on their face, the dome head guards, we talked about how cool their look is, but I feel like they really drive home that those aren't robots by having each guy's name printed next to his face. That's a nice touch. That's cool.
I think they're just guys in armor. I don't
just guys in armor. Yeah, just guys in armor, dude.
And
I think that's
great. They're
great.
Get it hard.
Oh, God, they get doomed so bad.
And Johnny here takes a bunch of shots to the chest, which tells you that he's got, like, body armor under there. So he's even less than just a torso. He's, like, just his upper body.
That's a Coventry of the Sword upgrade.
Jesus.
I love that doom through all the floors. Oh, dude, that's so good. Like, the perspective as, like, the floors are, like, tilting. Oh, it's so good, dude. Where he's like going down into the lowest level.
What about those little skull flames in his eyes in the page before?
Yeah, dude.
All these little details.
It's a visual feast. Because here's the thing: this is action heavy story light.
Yeah, this is very much an action issue.
Yeah, and so those little details, man. That's people who don't reread comics, people who read a comic once and then just don't go back. They're fucking themselves. Because you won't appreciate little stuff like that, like not on a first read.
And then, he's shooting his way into the sub basements, and he animes down there, in his little T pose.
So good though, it's just a beautiful, beautiful shot, and then Die Hard, he's mine. So good.
Die Hard has arrived.
Mm-hmm.
Super Soldier versus Super Soldier.
Exactly.
So
awesome.
So what else you got for us, Raven?
So this letters column has what I find to be one of, well, the two things. I'll say the quick one first, and then I'll just say the funny one, which is a little longer. Eric actually does talk a bit more about the process, the collaboration, right here within the issue in the letters column. He goes, Bertram Ulrich gives him a bit more credit than he likes because he replies, I cannot take all the credit for the layouts and storyline as much as I would like to. He says, Keith and I talked through the issue and he draws up a plot in layout form. Dave takes it from there, altering some a great deal and sticking to others fairly close. Keith establishes the pace of the book, Dave does all the rest. I plot the stories with Keith and write the final dialogue and sound effects. So he makes if you wondered, who does what or whatever, it's actually made pretty damn clear right there. And then the other letter that's a real gem of this, because the rest of them are pretty, like, pedestrian. Like, just people asking questions of things they didn't understand. For some fucking reason, a lot of people thought that goddamn Rockpile was actually turning into Savage Dragon, which is insane.
What?
Yes, dude.
People don't know what dreams are like.
I mean...
yeah.
Even in 93, my fucking, like, ball hair getting ass knew what that meant. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. So dumb. That's the dumbest mistake I've ever heard. You stupid bastards in the past. You stupid bastards. Feel ashamed retroactively. But one of the most hateful letters I love that Eric will print a shitty letter. I love that he'll print a shitty letter. And I'm sorry, but I'm gonna blast through this like laser quick, but you gotta appreciate this letter and that he even printed it. It says, "Dear Eric, I have to admit I was very surprised by the quality of the first Super Patriot. I detested your run on Spider-Man and remain firmly convinced that Savage Dragon is the dumbest book currently being published by Image, and that's saying something. However, this issue's stunning cover enticed me to give it a try, and I'm very glad that I did. The contributions of Keith Giffen were extremely welcome, as he's one of my favorite creators working in comics today. Please pass it on to him that as great a job as the Beer Bombs have done, we Legion fans would clearly love to have him back." So that's for you Legion fans out there on Jim's other podcast.
Indeed.
Now, he goes on.
Which letter is this?
Barry Reese from Hardwick, Georgia.
Reese.
Wait till you hear the rest of this fucking letter. He says, "Dave Johnson's artwork was so-so at times, but overall remained effective. His rendition of Super Patriot is beautiful. He's the first artist I've seen who's capable of making the character work. As with other cyborg characters like Deathlock and Cable, there's always a risk of a character ending up looking like a Transformer toy. This is particularly true of your artwork, Eric. And I have to admit that I'm quite glad that Johnson is the artist in the book and not you. I can live with the occasional references to Savage Dragon, I guess. But I hope you avoid having too many crossovers. Let the character stand on his own for a while. Personally, I'm sick of Wolverine and Lobo, even the ludicrous Youngbloods, popping all over their respective companies' lines. I remember when a crossover was looked at as something special. Oh well, guess those days are gone forever, huh? All in all, I'd like to say I did like the first issue, and I hope that Keith and Dave stay with the character for a long run. Tell Keith I'm sorry to see Trencher go. I think Trencher and Shaman's Tears were two of the best titles ever to come out of Image. Barry Reese." I'm just like, God damn, what a hateful ass letter, dude. Like, Eric replies, "Gee,
I'm glad you like it."
Gee, glad you liked it. Okay, and then on to solicitations. We actually have a new Freak Force Explosive first issue. It's with Vic Bridges. It's the actual Vic Bridges cover. We have Super Patriot versus Die Hard Round 2, a solicitation for issue 4. We have a fucking ad for Troll by Jeff Matsuda, though, so that's pretty cool. He's saying, "It's troll time, partner. If you've forgotten, Troll is basically Wolverine if he was a little person." Yeah, Troll, he's 3'4", 2,000 years old, and he's looking for a good time. Big things come in small packages.
Sounds like a Tinder ad.
Yeah. Good Lord. And then, pretty sweet, codename Strike Force solicitation. You know, Mark Silvestri's Strike Force character with the 3 metal arms. Just looking badass. And although it does have a bizarre credit, it gives writing to Mark, pencils to Brandon Peterson, yada yada. Then it says color separation in color. What the hell? That doesn't quite make sense to me. Color separation in color? It seems like a typo almost. Like my brain can't make that make sense.
I'd have to see it.
Shadowhawk 3 has an ad. If you think he's revealed all of his secrets, Think again.
Shadowhawk issue 3 or Shadowhawk 3?
Shadowhawk 3, not issue 3, but
third series.
The third one. Through the Past.
Can you
darkly.
believe it's already Shadowhawk's already had 3 series, and I think Dragon's only on issue 6?
Dragon is on issue 6. That literally was the next solicitation. Exit Freak Force.
Yeah.
Yep, in black and white. So if you ever want to see that cover in black and white, that's pretty cool, like little random thing.
So at this point, there's been the miniseries, 5 issues of Savage Dragon.
Yep.
The crossover with the Turtles, and this 4-issue Super Patriot miniseries.
Yep.
I think that's all.
And then, well, no, because on the back cover we got Vanguard number 3 with
3
with
issues
Joe
of that.
Mad. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, butt kicking action. Enough said. Yeah,
Butt
Joe
kicking
Mad.
action.
Yeah. So that pretty sweet solicitations. Absolutely hilarious letter. And Eric broke down the collaboration very well. So, yeah, on to issue number 4, I'd say.
So this is a pretty fun cover with Die Hard and
I would agree.
Patriot locked in combat.
Oh, yeah. Completely agree. Like you said, Jim.
Die Hard's an interesting character. It's no secret. I'm not a big fan of Liefeld. But Die Hard in general seems like an interesting character, even if I do find him a bit inferior to Super Patriot conceptually. But I primarily know Die Hard from that Prophet revival series from a few years ago. Die Hard was a character in that because Die Hard is essentially immortal. He just keeps replacing parts of his body. And there was like a whole plot line about that in that book. So he's kind of interesting in that. The name's pretty cool, Die Hard, because he dies hard.
Also like a Die Hard battery. It's like an implied machinery element.
Yeah, John McClane.
Die Hard is awesome, yeah.
But his dopey little shield bugs me.
Yeah, the shield I could do without. I like his look, actually. I actually think his look stands the test of time. I don't like that shield. His dopey little shield, Jim said. Now, let me ask you guys, do you think that there's any like in-joke to like some of the soldiers' names? We had Taggart, we have Erskine, Lieutenant Erskine. Like, do you think there's any? Do you think those are nods or references to anybody, or just throwaway?
I couldn't tell you.
Probably just friends. I know Josh Eichhorn is a flatulent ass this issue. That's great. Flatulent ass.
It flies like Super Patriot.
Mm-hmm. Back off. I'll handle this. I think this is a good color. The coloring is really nice on this splash page. Negative space, dudes.
Lots of it.
Love it.
You're talking about the one with the U.S. troops and then Die Hard.
Die Hard in the foreground.
Oh,
and
I
the
agree.
US troops in the back. Yep. Back off. I'll handle this. He's my friend. Yeah, that's really lovely negative space. I think the coloring is great on this issue.
I think they were starting to get stuff together.
Yeah.
Yep. Less experimental, more intent.
Like, on the second page there is the dopiest looking small shield, but below it, Johnny's face coloring is like super on point.
Yeah.
But that's because it's almost flats.
Yeah, it is almost, but it works. Like, it just really works. But it's great because he's trying to, like, Die Hard's trying to appeal to his humanity, like, right out the gate.
And
like
Johnny's looking like a monster.
Yeah,
all tore
he's the
up.
Frankenstein. And he just shoots Die Hard in fucking half.
Yeah, this is pretty funny in that he lasts like 1 second.
Yeah. No time at all. But it's cool because you get to see Die Hard's gimmick here. Like, he immediately uploads his consciousness into a new body.
Yep. A prototype body. An untested prototype body.
Which, let me just say, I think is cool for 2 reasons. It gives kind of a sort of narrative reason why he might last a bit longer in this body than his previous one, which was dead in like 2 seconds.
Right.
But also, it gives Dave Johnson a chance to flex his muscles.
Yeah, because now you get a different body style.
Yeah, so very cool. Love it, love it,
no more dopey shield. Sorry, I'm just really hung up on that dopey shield.
No, I'm with you. I'm team. No more.
What I am
Die
curious
Hard
about is when Die Hard says that prototype not properly, and he says we'll have a nice long chat about that later. Like he's only just discovering that can be downloaded into other bodies.
I mean, you got to think if it's he probably was just in a hurry to get back into battle,
right?
And he was like, "Why was this prototype body there among the bodies that I could have been in?"
Right.
Yeah, makes sense. Like, hey, dudes, come on.
So he's back immediately, and the fight is on for real,
which is awesome. Like, there's some really great back and forth, really great like sequential storytelling. Sweet 90s panels with the like jagged like borders.
Jagged borders with sound effects running down the side.
Mm-hmm.
And Die Hard, he lives up to his name, takes a bunch of shots to his body, and still gets back up.
Love
then
it.
He get great, well, that fun panel of Die Hard kicking Johnny in the face while Johnny punches Die Hard in the face.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
Classic klutz move.
Love it. Love it. I like Shaft. What a pussy. Doesn't want to go down and help. We're not going in till the last second. It's like, yeah, what's Shaft going to do?
Well, it's a matter of honor. He's given Die Hard a shot.
That's what he says, but do you really think that's what it is?
Did you see him blow Die Hard in half? I'm just a man with a bow and arrow.
Right. Yeah, so I think it's really funny, Shaft sort of being like, we're giving Die Hard a shot. It's like, yeah, right, dude.
I like how he does say it's Youngblood business now, and that these guys can butt out because it's their jurisdiction when people are shooting up the place.
Yeah, I mean, you know, you get Die Hard involved, it's Youngblood business.
Yeah.
Plus, I mean, what the hell were these government guys doing anyway? Like, they weren't doing shit but getting killed.
But yeah, right, they're pretty useless. But like, it's like. Youngblood's been very happy about all this clandestine crap going on around them,
right?
And then being manipulated by it. So really, having Johnny come in and blow the place up is the best thing that could have possibly happened for them.
True. Yeah, it would have been a
Gets
great
it all out
way.
in the open and really embarrasses them all.
Yeah, great excuse for them to distance themselves from like whoever might have been like over.
Yeah.
them.
I like Johnny's face here with getting his arm ripped off.
Oh yeah,
he's like very concerned about it.
And again, the scratched lightning into the Zipatone effect, real or not.
Though that looks like real Zipatone.
What makes you say that?
I don't know. It's just more predominant. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know much.
I don't know either. But it looks good to me. I just like it. I like the little dust clouds coming off of Die Hard's back as he's knocked over. And then that wall of sound effects instead of a panel.
Right.
So
not so much those little circles that represent where the barrel is.
Had they been colored different, I think it would have been okay.
Yeah, it could have been a contender, but I think it didn't really work out the way they thought it would.
Could have been a contender. I love it.
Well, yeah, because it's supposed to be you're kind of supposed to be seeing where the barrels are as he moves his arm around.
Sure, yeah.
But that's not really what it looks like.
Yeah, the coloring fucked it just a bit. But
using that gradient fill tool a little too much.
And then the sort of like washed out colors as like Die Hard's on his fucking back, just riddled with bullet holes, and like Super Patriot's over him. Man, it's something cool about it.
See, that's cool. That's cool coloring.
It works good with the negative space too.
Yeah, you're talking about where it's Patriot's head, the repeated panels, or
no, where Patriot's standing above Die Hard's bullet-riddled body, and it's negative space around.
Page 12.
That's the top page. So good, dude, and it's very muted palette.
Okay.
Do you know where we are?
Yes.
It's before Die Hard gets up and throws a big engine chunk into Super Patriot's back.
Okay.
Just that's really nice. That's what I'm saying is like you can see growth in the colorist even in these 4 issues. It's so good, dude.
And I love all the bullet holes
on
the floor. And
even in a negative space.
That's what I'm talking about.
It's nice. It's good, dude. It's so good. Even that splash page, the splash page where he's throwing the engine block or whatever, the Kudzu Tech engine block into his back, and like just sort of like the splat and the like, I don't know. It's great. I think it works like hell. We get to see Youngblood just really kind of wasting time, Should we go down? Nah.
Well, and this
Badrock's
is
not pleased.
And this is where Dave really started to add more details. If you look at the boots as he's walking away, and you get the runch, where he's he's actually drawing in the schmutz. The same thing on the bullet-ridden torso. Those. That leaking of oil or whatever, where you get the tonal values, and then again on the boots, you get him drawing in, not leaving it up for the colorist, like in issue 1 where they were very experimental on what and how they added that. He's going, no, this is kind of what I'm seeing, and just the little detail lines on the shin. Those are things that, became typical Dave Johnson trademarks, or go-tos, things that you could see that he would do consistently, even after he left this book. It's like, oh, okay, this is the direction that he's going. You could see that with a lot of the line work and what he was doing, especially in this issue 4.
I think Eric's dialogue on this exchange between Badrock and Shaft is on point. Like, I think it's really funny, like the way he writes him like an idiot. Don't think, Badrock. It just isn't you. Like, the best Badrock can do is say, hey, touche. It's good. It's good dialogue. I think he really nails that dumb teenage character voice that Badrock would have.
Yeah.
So you get it's a fight for her life, because basically Die Hard's telling him, like, look, dude, please don't make me kill you. Just like, you're my friend. Please don't do this. Super Patriot's still not getting through to him. So that's when he really starts laying it. He's like, fight it. You're in there. Come on, Johnny. And he's just really trying to do it. Then he unmasks him. See, and I'm telling you, this is where the Frankenstein thing. He just comes out and says it. You're not a machine, Johnny. You're a man. It's you're not a monster, And then we get this sort of like, that's the unmasking. And I got to ask you guys, is that the first time we saw Super Patriot's face unmasked?
Yes.
Awesome. It is for those without...
Oh, is this page with Die Hard choking the shit out of Johnny a recreation of Super Patriot choking the shit out of Dragon? I gotta check something real quick.
Check it, dude. I'm gonna say something while you're saying that. I love that the face reveal was a page flip. I love it. I love that you flip the page and you get to see.
Yeah, I don't get that with reading it online, but I can see that totally.
Well, every page is a page flip online.
Right. I'm just telling you, like, I'm saying, what a great thing. Because, like, you just flip the page and it's like, boom, there's his face. Because it's teased in silhouette the whole time before.
Well,
like,
you
don't.
In the link that I have that I'm looking at it, I can scroll up and down. So I'm scrolling through. So for me, it's, it's not like a typical, what I would see is a page flip. I'm moving down. I see the mask being pulled off, and then him choking him out, which is a great splash.
They got the whole thing, though. I'm telling you, this Frankenstein thing is not just bullshit. They've got the whole thing where he's less and less human. Like, just even his chest, like Jim said, when he gets shot in the chest, it looks like a fucking robot chest. Even though you see skin on the collarbone and the neck, the chest is like torn wide open now, and it looks like a robot chest. And then when he unmasks him, you don't know what you're going to see, because at this point, Super Patriot has just been less and less human, more and more machine, more and more a weapon, and then you flip the page and he's still got his human face. I mean, it's all cyborged up, but he's still a man, dude. And by contrast, Die Hard doesn't have anything under his face. Like, his jawline is empty if you look.
Yeah, he doesn't have a face.
You're right.
True.
It's very cool. Very cool. I love it. I think it's awesome.
All right, so I'm slightly wrong.
All right.
There is a similar panel in issue 2 of the miniseries where Dragon is on the floor and Super Patriot has his gun to his head, but it isn't really similar at all. However, I might be confusing it with the cover to Savage Dragon 38, which has Cyberface choking the shit out of Dragon in a similar but different angle. Yeah, I think that's what I'm thinking of. Anyway, I just thought this chokeout page was iconic, and I could have swore that it had been reused elsewhere.
Oh, I can see what you're saying with Cyberface choking out. Yeah. What is that, like issue? What did you say it was?
38.
Yeah. Right there it was that Chicago, that whole Chicago after the aliens attacked.
Right.
Yeah. I could see that.
But yeah. I just, for some reason, I thought it was like a direct reference to something, but I was wrong. So where were you at? You said the Johnny in the Mirror?
Yeah, Johnny in the Mirror. And even then, the whole thing, the whole plot line about this, it's easy to think of this shit as not very, just a big action sequence. But like I said, the whole plot line of this is every time he's confronted with a hero, it becomes Dragon, right?
Right.
Well, he's confronted with himself, and he's just fucking he's telling him, he's like, Johnny, you're a man, face it, you're a man, you're in there, you're a man, don't lose your humanity. And when he's faced with himself, he turns into, first he just turns from a man into the Super Patriot mask, then he turns back into his old self. I'm telling you, dudes, it's beautiful. It's beautiful writing.
Also, this is a very Keith Giffen page as well, where you have multiple pages that is just the same panel over and over again.
Yes.
Right.
He loves that shit. That's how you know time is passing.
It's good, though, dude. I'm telling you, it's good. Find the man, and then I'm back. So I think it's awesome. We see the Coventry of the Sword. No, I'm kidding. We see that they have accepted their failure, and it's just not a lot of words, but it's just great because it makes them so creepy. It really sells that cult thing where you're just like, complete override, we lost him, shutting down. The council tenders its regrets. Be assured the fight will go on. She doesn't even she's not crying. There's not a tear or anything. Just like, of course, blam. So that's a pretty wicked send out for them. It's awesome. It's ominous, and it's very cool. It also destroys their connection to the government because she was their connection to the government. So that's pretty cool.
I'm sure they have many operatives in many echelons of society.
You're probably right. There's a Nurse Ann, little cameo.
We're at Hillman Hospital.
Yep. Back in Chicago.
And there's Nurse Ann. And Super Patriot's just got his new limbs back on. His traditional arms and legs.
Says no more tests.
Yeah, he is sick of this.
Yep.
And then the page that we've seen after this, done numerous times. I think this was done in Freak Force. This was done where he's actually at the diner. That second panel we've seen.
Stinky's Diner. Have we seen this before?
Yep.
Huh. I don't know where.
It was after this. It's been in the Freak Force. It's been talked about in Savage Dragon. This has been referenced and redrawn a few times.
Well, let me dip into your big brain knowledge here. which version at this point in '93 of Mighty Man are we looking at here?
This is definitely Ann Stevens. You can tell because he's got the star on his chest.
Okay. All right.
But he hasn't told Super Patriot this. He doesn't know this. That doesn't come up until later in Freak Force.
Okay.
Or even, maybe it was in Dragon. I actually can't remember. But basically Ann's pretending to be the same man he was at this point. Mm-hmm. I think that comes up later.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm telling you, I'm sorry. Upon further conversation with you, I think this is very well written. Because even more on the thing, look at the thing, it goes, have you come to check up on me, Mighty Man, to make sure the weapon isn't cocked? He's looking at his own reflection in the coffee. Just like, he faced his reflection there. I'm telling you, dudes, there's beautiful symmetry going on.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
I think this is better written than, it's not just them.
No, I think it's really well written. I think, as a 4-issue miniseries, the first two we all, I think, agreed were really strong. And I think it ends on a really interesting note. And you really get the feel for the human aspect of Patriot, where, you came into it and he was more, it was more cold, more of a machine, the first 2 issues. And by the end, it's like, okay, that humanity, like you said, Frankenstein's monster. He's still questioning: am I more machine, or am I more man? Are you checking to see if the weapon's still cocked? Are you checking to see if I'm still if the monster is here, or if it's the man? And I think those flashbacks that we see with Super Patriot and what he went through really resonate in hindsight. Granted, it looks like an epileptic dolphin attacking Patriot, but you get the idea of what actually happened to Super Patriot and why he is who he is.
It's good, man. It's good. Starts with him just being a weapon, ends with him just hanging out in the diner, eating pie, just being a sweet and low eater in his thing, and getting an offer to join Freak Force.
And really, this whole series is a prequel, or at least a lead-in to Freak Force.
Yeah, continued in Freak Force.
Which we will be getting to very shortly. Very shortly.
Very awesome. I loved it. Yeah, this was a great issue. I think it was really good. I think it was a great cap. I think it had a great mix of story and action.
Yep.
Yeah, I would agree.
I definitely think it ends really strongly. The whole series is great. Every issue has something.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Jim, you know what? That's it. Every issue has its thing it does.
Well, each issue propels to where you end up. There's a, and that's the thing with a lot of 4-issue or 6-issue miniseries, they don't propel the story. There's filler, where there was a pinnacle, or there was a part of each one of those stories that really was a driving agent to where you end up. There wasn't a lot of room for that filler, if that makes sense. That each one had a poignant part in getting Patriot to where he is, and getting him to Freak Force. At least that's how I feel.
It's thebomb.com.
I would agree.
Stars and gripes. Not too much meat on these potatoes. You do get kind of a hilarious Eric throws some people under the bus in the intro of his letters section and says, Super Patriot 4 at last, the grand finale. Sorry it's a little late. It's a little my fault, a little Dave's fault, a whole lot of Laverne and Digital Chameleon's fault. Way to drag your butt, guys. Fucking hilarious. And then he just turns around and tells people to read Freak Force. The only other letter that really kind of like tickles my pickle, makes me laugh a bit, is that somebody jumps his shit, Michael DeLosa of Novato, California, jumps his shit for blasphemy. Just don't use Jesus and Christ as profanes. And basically, just it's funny because he's like, no, I'm not calling. It's just funny the language, given how like it's one of those things where like it really mirrors the modern conversation where people are like, oh, these topics in my comics. Michael literally uses the phrase for this to all. He goes, he goes on to, I'm not going to list all that stuff, but he goes, is it equally bad to have such indecency pervade a most beloved art form, the comic book?
Jesus.
Yep. There's a plea to think of the young children who might pick the book up without ever knowing who Jesus Christ is. Never mind the fact that we just saw Super Patriot murder the fucking shit out of a goddamn super basement full of government employees, but, whatever. Don't say Jesus Christ, please. And then he goes, however, I'm not demanding censorship or political correctness. I'm just asking for social responsibility.
Jesus.
Yeah, dude.
I'm just going to keep saying Jesus over and over again just to spite this guy 27 years ago.
Right.
The guy was getting his arms and legs and torso eaten. He can take the Lord's name in vain. It's okay.
It's too funny. He goes, you may
I wonder if this is why Dragon says Jesus all the time after this point.
To fuck with Michael?
Yes, specifically.
Well, funny, Larson just gives him the clap back and says, dude, it's America's about religious freedom of expression, and if you don't like it, sorry, you got to just deal with it.
Get out.
Jesus, sorry if you don't like it.
He tells him you got two choices, take a fat black marker and cross out any offending words, or stop buying my books. So those were the two real gems. Those were what were really good. And then it's funny that he just turns around and says that it was a blast and tells people to read Freak Force, which, oddly enough, we have an ad for Freak Force 2 already in this issue. That's the first of the solicitation. And then we have an ad for Dragon 8. So, Cutthroat and Hellraiser right on the cover. And then we got an ad for Stormwatch, The Final Showdown, issue number 7. Stormwatch Prime returns. And then we got ad for Vanguard number 4. So by Eric and Gary Carlson and Rick Linardi on the art. And that's all you need to know, says the solicitation. You don't need to know anything else. Here's the creative team. And then lastly, there's an ad for a Image Comics fan club t-shirt. No, it's the Image Comics fan club. Oh boy, no, I'm sorry. We got to dip into this. I thought this was an ad for a fucking t-shirt, but it's an ad for a fan club. Oh my, I can't read. It says, are you shunned by your peers, rejected by loved ones, hated by dogs and small children? Things may look bleak, but fear not, there is a cure. And it's got an image, it's got a t-shirt, and it says Image Comics Fan Club, and it's got like a picture by Jeff Matsuda. And it's got, Shaft and Shadowhawk and Dragon and Grifter and Spawn and Ripclaw. It says, join today. In just a few short weeks, you'll be the coolest person you know. You'll receive this styling t-shirt. Okay, so it was for the shirt. Plus an exclusive button and a quarterly newsletter with all the latest Image news and special sneak previews. 365 days of coolness for a measly 15 bills. How cool is that? Just send $15, check our money order only, and your t-shirt size too, and it gives the address. And I gotta say, is that like so for $15 once, you were supposed to receive a quarterly newsletter forever?
Huh.
Yeah, somebody out there, join this thing.
Show us that newsletter you got this month.
Yeah, I want to see that button. I mean, we see the t-shirt in the ad, but I want to see that exclusive button, man. I want to know I want to see any of those newsletters. Yeah, I'm just saying. I would love actually to see one of those. If any listeners did that, please let me know. Very last back of the book. Beautiful. I'm sorry, I throw around iconic in these retro FINcasts way too much, but that iconic image of the Max versus Pitt, where they're fighting on the drawing table.
I vaguely remember that one.
Yeah, as do I.
It's great. It's fantastic. My friends, it's time to just get your general impressions on 3 and 4, you know?
I think it was a very good conclusion to a great series. I think we got decent action with I think the fight with Die Hard's way better here than the one that was in the Strike File.
I would agree. I would agree.
A whole issue, or was it just a short sequence?
What do you mean, in Strike File?
Yeah.
Well, it's a whole issue. Almost an issue and a half, really. And remember, Youngblood Strike File were flip books, so there were 2 stories in every issue. So there was, it's only half a story each issue. Mm-hmm. So the Die Hard Super Patriot fight goes between issues 2 and half of 3. Mm-hmm. So it's a decent length, at least as long as the fight in this issue.
Okay.
Issue 4. I just think this fight was just choreographed way better.
Oh yeah,
because Super Patriot's almost jobbed out in that Strike File story because it's all about Die Hard getting him back from Cyberdata and taking him back to Youngblood.
Right.
So he wins that fight, whereas in this fight it's more of a draw.
Yeah.
Because he got his sanity back.
Right. Fight for humanity.
Indeed.
Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. One
last thing. I do think one thing I get from this story is I kind of wish there was more interaction between Die Hard and Super Patriot going forward. Of course, that ship is well sailed by now, but I feel like that relationship almost feels very natural in this story, and it's too bad there isn't more of it.
I get it.
I can see that.
Unfortunately, all of the Image books just sort of became more isolated as time went by.
Yeah.
They didn't play in each other's sandboxes too much, and for good reasons. I mean, when you let when you have really extensive stuff, and then people change, situations change, feelings get hurt, then people become friends again, and it's just a lot easier just not to even fuck with it, really. So I get it. I get why it doesn't happen, but you are right. It seems like in this issue, here's a guy who is fighting his damn ass off to save his best friend, and then basically they don't talk now. So that's a bummer. But let me ask you this. Spawn did kind of a retcon to get rid of the connection to Youngblood. Would you like to see sort of a retcon, not a retcon, but sort of a wiggle or an homage or just something to where it'd be more of an Eric-owned original character to fill that role as an old character Super Patriot used to know that he could buddy with?
No, not really.
No?
I think it would, but see, and I think that would also erase everything that, was laid down before, and it is, crappy as the, I don't want to say crappy, but the coloring of the 90s were, there was that flair.
How dare you?
Well, it was new.
How dare you?
New and innovative coloring at that time, but in comparison to today, but you had that experiment of them trying to interweave some of their studios, and to take that out, I think you would be kind of rewriting the story. And
let me ask you guys something. Original Image Universe Super Patriot is dead, correct?
What?
He got eaten. The original Image U in Savage Dragon continuity is gone.
Wait, you mean the original?
remember that Malcolm and Angel are like and Dragon and Alex are the only people from the original MSU?
Technically, but all of this still happened in the Savage world. Or did it? Wait a minute.
I'm saying it doesn't have to have had.
Well, hold on a second, because remember, Super Patriot, you know what? If there's no Dark Lord, there's no Covenant of the Sword. If there's no Covenant of the Sword...
You're right. Maybe...
You know what? I think all of this got erased because Cyberface kidnapped Johnny directly.
You're right. And he was
data.
plugged in after the aliens... he got him from when after the aliens...
I'm so goddamn smart and knowledgeable.
You mean after the Mars
after
Attacks
Mars Attacks image is when...
Well, if that's the case, then this did happen.
No, Mars Attacks image was the original image, you guys.
No, but you're not listening. We're talking about what events happened in the Savage world that are the same as in the Image universe.
Okay.
And I'm trying to figure out if there was no Covenant of the Sword, which there wouldn't have been, because if there's no Dark Lord... Because Dark Lord found it.
But there is a Dark Lord.
That's the thing. There truly is a...
Yeah, Dark Lord didn't get erased.
Dark Lord... Guys, in the Savage world, Dark Lord was a child who Dragon killed.
Right.
Before he could go... Oh, wait, I guess...
See what we're saying? I mean, truly, otherwise, how did he show back up?
Yeah, he existed, clearly. I mean, and there are multiple ones.
Well, because Cyberface kidnapped him and kept him on ice and reprogrammed him. Remember when Dragon finally breaks his conditioning?
To not get too confused, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Super Patriot was like, "Oh, you're police. You're police."
So what I'm hearing is that we need to have
this got retconned.
Johnson needs to come back and illustrate a Parsons story that is based off of this new timeline.
Because here's what I think. I don't think any of this happened between the point that Cyberdata got him back at the end of issue 2. Mm-hmm. I think he's been on ice the entire time until issue like 98 or like 95 or 96 when he fights Dragon the first time. Well, I think in the Savage world, that isn't his entire experience.
Here's the thing.
So it's entirely possible all of this never happened.
I mean, that's the thing is, like, I know we're driving, the people who know we're driving goddamn wild. Like, and the people who don't know are like, huh? So here's what I'm saying. For the sake of listeners, you know, and again, we can find actually all this out, I think, on the Savage Wiki.
Maybe. The Wiki likes to pretend that the universe...
continued
is continuous.
Yeah.
For ease of access, it doesn't really break it down per universe.
And also remember that now every memory is shared now.
Well, that's true. All this Johnny would have all these memories.
So all it would be remembered. However, this is all I was saying originally, is that to me, I thought potentially, if the original Image universe events were gone, retconned, potentially you could make some sort of diehard, like, you know,
remember later on, Eric would use the Liberty League to replace the Allies.
Okay.
Yeah. So they fought during World War II, so they were another team that Johnny was on. That he was on both teams, so you could kind of ignore the Allies and still have him be fighting on a team during World War II.
Got it. Okay. QQ.
But none of those guys are really his friends, because Big Man and Battle Tank are conservative assholes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Big Man.
Pinko.
I'm pretty sure his name's Big Man. I'm going to check that real quick. I think his name's Big Man.
I just think it's cool. I would love for there to be more Super Patriot. Like, I've said this before, but even if it was only digital.
Nope, it's Mr. Big.
Mr. Big.
His name is Mr. Big.
But even if there was only digital, I would support another Super Patriot spinoff. I know that Eric doesn't have probably the desire to even really do it. I know.
I don't know. I feel like he loves Super Patriot. He just doesn't get an opportunity to use him very much.
Well, I mean, the desire to collaborate. I don't see him, like, seeking out collaborations, like, on that scale, like he used to. But if he ever did, I mean, I would completely support a new Super Patriot thing, even if it was digital only. I mean that. I literally don't give a shit. Even if it was digital only, and then the only ever hope it got of being in print was just a few pages at a time as backups in Savage Dragon issues, I would totally support I would support the goddamn balls off of a new Super Patriot mini. Because we talked in the last episode about how great the Kirkman one was, and I'm just saying, like, what a dynamite fucking character. Like, Super Patriot rocks. Reading this just reminded me how much I love that fucking guy.
I can see that, and I feel the same way, and I think the art really sells it.
Yeah,
it does. I mean, the story panel, the panel to panel storytelling is bar none top notch, and going into it knowing that the coloring is dated, and just seeing what. It's almost a nice feel of nostalgia going back and looking at how things were colored back then and how different it is now, in comparison.
Let's kill a golden cow. I want to hear from both of you. What's one thing you would change about this miniseries? Jim? Or Scott, whoever's got something you would change.
I would love to see...
Don't say coloring too easy.
See, I would like to see it updated color-wise.
Give me content. I need more than color. Color's cheap.
We've
been bagging on color this whole time.
You know what I'd like to see is it revisited after what we just talked about with the whole time continuum change.
Well, I actually have... I just got the details on that.
Lay it on us.
Off our Savage Dragon wiki, very helpful. So in the second reality that Dragon called home, Super Patriot was never sent against the Covenant of the Sword, as they did not exist. He remained in United States government custody for several years and was dispatched against the Martians during the invasion of Earth. Super Patriot was captured when Cyberface conquered the aliens. He took the hero as agent of his own. So basically, everything up to the first Die Hard fight happened. And then he was basically kept on ice until Cyberface got his hands on him.
Got it.
So the events of this miniseries, until the memories were restored in the collapse of the reality stuff, no longer happened.
So I would like to see what exactly, redo the mini to see where we're at,
Like a Savage version. A Savage World version.
America's Fighting Force series takes place after the Savage World, so it kind of deals with this.
Cool,
but not in depth.
Okay.
Because remember, as a result of all of this, his kids do exist. He doesn't meet his kids until much later.
Yeah.
And then they die. And then he gives birth to two kids he names after his dead kids. It's very strange.
Yeah.
Yes.
My. You don't remember this?
I do.
That's pet logic. And you will be the new Mittens.
You'll be the new Mittens. You'll be the new Liberty.
Hello, New Liberty. Why'd you call me New Liberty? I mean, Liberty.
Liberty 2.
Liberty 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Dad, why'd you call me New Liberty?
Those kids are characters we haven't seen in about 20 years, so it would be nice to see them again someday.
That will never happen, but you are welcome. No, I'm kidding. What would you change? Golden Cow. What would you change, Jim? Scott answered.
This is tough for me because I don't think there's a lot wrong with this series.
Sure. Well, that's
needs improvement or removal.
I'm asking you to dig. Like what?
Yeah, but
and this can be personal. What would you want?
But that's the thing. I can't think of anything that I would change except for, I guess. Well, I know what you would change. We'll get to that in a second.
Huh.
But I kind of feel like, this is so tough. I guess.
Yeah, it's hard. This is Golden Cow.
I guess. What was the rock guy's name again?
Rockpile.
Rockpile isn't a great villain. I mean, he's a great
visual.
I don't know.
He's a great visual.
Well, no, I disagree. I find his visual very basic. He's the Thing. He's a big rock guy. The cool part about him is the little dude inside.
That's what I meant by he's a cool visual once. Yeah,
once he gets ripped open. I think he gets jobbed out, but I think that's like the whole point.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that character could have used a little bit more depth than being just kind of a dumb bruiser.
For non-wrestling fans, Jim means that he lost in a very
the way he said he's
way.
set up to be strong, and then
Yeah.
to show how strong Super Patriot actually is, he's killed instantly.
Yeah, very quick. Yep.
So we're basically taught that the first fight wasn't a real fight because Johnny was broken. But
So
in a
you
real
just would
fight,
have the rock pile thing be better.
better. Like a more involved second fight, or I don't know. I kind of like how he gets squished though, so I wouldn't change that. I don't know. It's just hard for, like I said, it's really hard.
Golden
for me.
Cow, dude. I know it's hard. This is a really hard one.
But it's just that there isn't. It's so tight and lean. There just isn't a lot to remove, and if you add too much, it just becomes.
Well, and that's where I was like, I would like to then see if I can't have it revisited color wise because I thought everything was great. Then let's see where we're at, in this timeline.
Reality. Yeah. But Eric hates repeating himself. He doesn't go back. He likes to go
exactly.
forward.
So
I've always wanted to have him do a Marvel's version of Savage Dragon, where you see all these events happen from a civilian's point of view.
Jim,
Yeah,
I would love that.
Yeah, a lot of us would, but I don't think
I would love that.
What if you did a whole story about a random cop that was there the day they found him in the burning field? Like he's the guy who got the call, so he's the one who calls Frank, and he's just kind of there the entire time until he gets randomly killed in a exploding precinct.
Yeah.
Because that happens all the time.
Oh yeah. Well, let me ask you this. So, sorry to take you guys on these rides, but I mean, hey, it concluded, and I have these thoughts, and I want to share them, and I want to hear.
What would you change, Raven?
What would I change?
Would
to
you
be
give
honest,
all these characters names?
Nah, too easy, because I griped about it in the main thing. I'm trying to say, oh, you guys are going to hate me. I'm such a loser. I just need to have, something more sexy. It wasn't very sexy.
There are no ladies in this story. Well, except for that one lady, but she wasn't very sexy.
Coventry the Sword outfit way too concealing. Make something.
They're very conservative. Those religious cult fanatics.
Something sexy. I'm just saying that's the only thing I could think. It's a golden cow, and that's very stupid, and that's very personal. But literally, there's no sex appeal in this story at all.
This comic.
No sex appeal at all, and that's the only thing I could honestly think, because to me it is perfect in every other way. But I mean, it didn't need sex appeal, is the truth. It's a golden cow for a reason. It's amazing. Honestly, sex would really be shoehorned in. It wouldn't actually fit. But hey, goddamn it, it's the only thing I can think of. All I was gonna say, because again, I'm sorry these seem weird out of the left field questions, but this literally is where my mind's going right now, and I think it's somewhat interesting conversation. To me, outside of Dragon's origin, this is one of the most potentially cinematic stories in Savage Dragon.
Right.
And I know we're never going to get a movie, so that's not what I'm saying. I know I'm not going to be wouldn't this make a great movie or whatever else. I'm just saying, don't you guys think that this has a sort of a killer, it would really serve well this story structure? Just the journey. It's that hero's origin, kind of an origin picture, but told in a very non-traditional origin story way.
Yeah.
And if this was a movie, wouldn't it be awesome? And how many times would you watch it?
You'd have to find, if you did it as a movie,
right,
or if you retold it in some way,
right,
you'd have to find a character more different. Basically, you could not tell this story with Die Hard, not just because the rights are a mess, but because, well, no, you might be able to do that, because here's my first thought was you can't have two super soldier characters. It's just redundant. So you got to have someone who's different. But you know what? If you had a situation where there was a team of super soldiers and these two guys were close friends during the war, and they both became cyberized in different ways, I guess you could have that conflict at the end where they're both trying to find their humanity in a different way. It almost have to be a buddy movie.
That's what I'm saying.
Winter Soldier. Lethal Weapon.
Yeah,
Lethal Weapon 5. Yeah, they're remaking Lethal Weapon 5. Just do it that way. They're older now. They're going to get a new hip, new knee.
Well, one gets cyberized by the U.S. government, and the other one gets cyberized by the other side, and they're thrown into conflict against each other.
As we talk, I swear I feel like Winter Soldier ripped off this story arc.
Really?
I'm not really, but I'm saying look at the parallels, dude.
Yeah.
This is literally what you just said. I'm not saying that it was an actual...
I guess it kind of is.
I'm not saying it was an actual ripoff, but that is verbatim what you just said.
Well, it's hardly an original plot line.
Well, still
Two soldiers, one's brainwashed and the other one is not. I think that's been done a couple of times.
I would cast the deep fake of Jack Palance as Super Patriot. You know Jack Palance, right?
Yes.
Curly's
gold.
Oh, wait, Curly?
One thing. There's one thing. And he holds up his finger. Yeah, I know Jack.
Don't you think Jack Palance's face is very Super Patriot? Well, okay, who would you cast as Super Patriot?
I have no idea.
All right, who would you cast as Super Patriot, GD?
I'm terrible at casting, fantasy casting. I don't know.
There's almost no other humans of note in this movie.
Clint Eastwood.
Everyone else is a robot. Clint Eastwood. Ugh.
Yeah, he's a bad choice.
He's a weirdo these days.
He might look the same, but he's the weirdo.
He's just gotten so weird.
He likes making movies about killing minorities.
And he's just become a weird dude. Talking to a chair, that whole chair thing.
Well, I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying look-wise. I mean, he's got that wrinkled ass face. I'm not talking.
There's got to be another wrinkled dude. I'm just saying. Another wrinkled old tough dude.
Oh, you know what? The guy from True Grit. What's his name?
True Grit.
No, not that one.
This is great podcasting.
Yeah,
by the
it's
way.
Great. Googling in real time. Jeff Bridges. Jeff Bridges would be great.
Jeff Bridges would make a
the
pretty
dude?
good one. The dude.
No, Rooster Cogburn.
No, the dude. Jeff Bridges is the dude. I mean...
Yeah, like 30 years ago he was the dude.
He just did a commercial as the dude last year.
You know what, listeners?
Jeff Bridges is a multifaceted actor.
I know our listeners have a really awesome old dude out there.
He was also the Starman in Starman.
Goddamn Michael Keaton. What are we talking about?
Michael Keaton would be an okay
I
Michael Keaton's old as hell.
I could see Michael Keaton.
Look at him and look at his face and think like grizzled old Michael Keaton as Super Patriot. Oh, that works.
See,
dude.
I want to I picture somebody. I could see that. You know, I remember in that one where he's trying to shave.
Is Kurt Russell still alive?
Kurt Russell.
Yeah, Kurt Russell would be a good one. Kurt
Russell would probably make a good Die Hard. Like the opposite character to Jeff Bridges.
You gotta fight it, Johnny. You're a human. You're a man. You're not a machine. Come on. Fight it, Johnny.
It's really good.
You're Johnny Armstrong. Well, I'm glad I asked that. You guys came up with some really good choices. Well, any lingering thoughts on this? I've loved this conversation, guys. I loved this series. This was fun as hell to revisit.
I agree. I enjoyed going through the panels, and the story was just great. You know, all four of them. You know, all four books.
Awesome. Jim, any lingering thoughts? Takes?
No, it's really good.
Well,
I think I said last episode, it's essential reading for Savage Dragon. People who are reading the series from the beginning, this series, Freak Force, it's essential. Don't skip it.
Agree. And number wise, I'm going to give issue 3 a 10, and I'm going to give issue 4 a 10 as well. I wouldn't change a thing about either of them. Absolutely flawless. This is a fantastic series. Well, why don't you give us a little glimpse into the future, Jim? Tell us what...
According to my chart, and the position of the sun, the moon. Next episode, we'll be covering Savage Dragon, issue number 4 and issue number 5. Mm-hmm. And the episode after that, we should be getting to cover Vanguard.
Nice.
Issue number 1 and issue number 2.
Nice.
Let me verify something really quick to be sure that this is all accurate.
Joe Mad Vanguard?
We may actually have to make an adjustment really quick, because now I realize we'll have not read Savage Dragon number 6 before we start Freak Force number 1. So we may need to make an adjustment, but I'm pretty sure we're doing Savage Dragon 4 and 5 for sure next time.
It's fine. We're not setting anything in stone, dear listener. We're just giving you broad strokes.
Well,
we'll get to fine details later.
Well, I am trying to keep this in publication order as closely as possible.
Right.
But it's important that the Freak Force leave the Chicago PD before they become Freak Force. That's important.
Sure.
To me.
Yeah. Well, even those solicitations, you heard when I was reading the solicitations, like, tune in for next issue for Freak Force, and it's like soliciting Freak Force 2, and it's like, yeah, what?
Well, I'm pretty sure Freak Force 1 came out the same month as Super Patriot 4.
Ooh, nice.
Because that would make sense.
Damn, what a good month that would have been.
It would have been a good month.
Of
course, it was also late. It's entirely possible it came out after, which would be super weird.
You know, I didn't do it. I can look real super quick and see the timeline on this. We got on the covers number 1. Oh, it doesn't have a date.
Yeah, covers lie. Hold on. I can actually do it for real.
Oh, okay. I was going to say publishing date says July 1993 on number 1, and then it says September.
Freak Force number 1, December 93.
September 93, so there's a decent little chunk there.
Well, that's weird.
And then from September to October for number 3, and then for number 3 to 4, December. So not terrible.
Oh, I'm looking at the wrong one. Yeah, December 93 for issue 4, December 93 for issue 1 of Freak Force. They actually came out the same week, if these
same week
dates are correct. But to be fair, Comic Vine dates are... And actually, now that I look at this, every single date for Freak Force says the first of the month, and I know that's not true.
Oh, okay.
So that's probably not true at all.
Get your fucking shit together.
Is good for some things, but not necessarily accurate street dates.
Well, the covers tell me that there's July, September, October,
that was still back in the day when they were like you put the dates on early. The date is actually the month it's supposed to be removed from the shelves.
What?
You put them out 3 months in advance, and then they stay on the shelf until you get to the month, and then you remove them.
That's goddamn insanity, what you just said.
That's how newsstands used to work. That's why a book would come out in May, but the cover date would say, like, July.
Ew.
But that may not have been true for this
That
series.
Is terrible for history, though.
That's why it's actually super hard to figure out what days certain books actually came out because of that exact reason.
Oh, God.
But that was more of a problem during the newsstand era.
Yeah, you just taught me a terrible thing.
I learned something new myself.
What? Neither of you guys knew that?
No, dude. Huh. I had no clue at all.
A Best Buy date.
That's all it is. It's just the actual months just told you how long to keep them up. Once that month passed, you remove them and sent them back.
Nevertheless, dear listeners, you're gonna have a glimpse at the future. Jim will have it ironed out by the next time we do our retro.
Yep, for certain.
And I just want to say thanks so much for talking to me, fellas. I truly did have an amazing time. I had never finished the series.
Hey, I just appreciate you guys having me again. You know, I really appreciate it. Anytime I can talk comics, Dragon, anything, I truly appreciate it.
Yep, super amazing. And thank you, listeners. Thank you so much. If you enjoy the Savage FINcast, the retros, the new episodes, anything, please, share it with a friend. Let someone know. Share your love of Savage Dragon. Listen to us in your commute. You'd be amazed how many people become a fan of something.
Or commune. Is this a hippie commune that you're...
Do both, if you please. Whatever
your Coventry and your commune.
Whatever girds your loins. Yeah, whatever makes it happen for you. I don't care. As long as you got this podcast on and you're reading Savage Dragon, that makes me happy. Because I know that there's one more person out there enjoying this fucking amazing book. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, listening to this. Let us know your thoughts, your takes, your casting decisions.
What order we should be reviewing these books in.
I'm sure Jim would love that. And thank you again.